Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Starseed Coalition. I am your host, Katie, and I am so excited to be here with you today. Now, if this just ended up in your podcast inbox and you're like, wait a second, I did not subscribe to a podcast called the Starseed Coalition, that is because this podcast used to be called Guided Souls, and it's wild. It's been about a year since I have recorded a podcast episode. My last episode was posted at the beginning of last October, and what a freaking year it has been. And when I left, I really wanted to put my energy into other things. I wasn't necessarily feeling inspired by the podcast format at that moment in time. But I said, I don't know. I might be back. Who knows? I just kind of have to wait and see where the universe takes me. And recently, this past weekend, we had our full moon and lunar eclipse in Pisces. And I just had this massive download and everything started clicking into place. And I was like, okay, it's time to start the podcast up again, but we're doing things a little bit differently this time. So if you don't know what a starseed is, to sort of sum it up in layman's terms, it is an individual, a soul, a human here on Earth who believes that their origins are elsewhere, are among the stars. And there are lots of different types of starseeds. There are lots of different star systems and constellations that different starseeds feel connected to. I myself probably feel most connected to Pleiades at this time in my life, but who knows? That could grow, that could change. And, I kind of question, are we all starseeds? Is everyone on Earth a starseed? Or is it just the people that remember? Or are all of us from the stars, but only some of us remember? And I don't know the answer to that. Anyone who claims to know the answer to that is lying to you. But I think that there are some of us who are meant to remember our origins to a further extent and to remember our soul missions and why we came here and what we want to spread while we're on this earth. And, I've known that I am a starseed for a couple years now. I first sort of even stumbled upon what a starseed was in 2023, in the fall of 2023. And the first time I heard of Pleiades, I was all excited and just felt like full body tingles all over. And I remember I ordered a Pleiades Oracle Starseed deck and some books. And the day that I got them in the mail, I had this beautiful reading that I did for myself with them. And then I was going on a walk that night and it was dark out. It was winter. You could see the night sky. And I saw Pleiades in the sky for the first time. And a shooting star went by, as I was pointing out Pleiades to my husband. So just beautiful synchronicity. And I kind of talked about my experience a little bit back then, but it was more of this thing that I knew about myself that was sort of running in the background and wasn't really at the forefront of the messages that I was meant to share with people or the work that I was meant to do. And from that point in time until now, I feel like I have really been being prepared to sort of do the work of a starseed here on Earth and to really bring together a group of starseeds who want to make a difference on this planet, who want to spread high vibrations and love and make an impact, make a lasting impact, not only in the lives of others, but in their own lives as well. Part of the reason why we incarnate here is to evolve our own souls and to grow our own souls. And with this full moon eclipse that we just had, all week, I felt this pull towards my starseed roots, my starseed origins. And then over the weekend, it was just everything clicked into place and made sense. And I'm so excited to be now sharing it with you. And I wanted to call it the Starseed Coalition because, you know, the definition of a coalition is like a group of diverse people that come together with a common goal for a period of time to like execute something, make something happen. And I love the idea of having all of these star seeds placed everywhere across the world, and we all have our own missions that we're carrying out. But at the end of the day, we all have similar goals for like the earth that we want to see, the new earth, the changes, the love that we want to spread, and to just like create a community and a space for all of those souls. So that is my intention with this podcast. I also have a beautiful Patreon community that I have recently switched to call the Starseed Coalition as well. So, with each of these episodes, there will be a piece of bonus content specifically for that group. This episode, we are talking about remembering why we came here. And so, I'm going to be doing a meditation and activation for that group to help them tap into their own soul's wisdom, the universe's wisdom, to help them remember why they came. And so if that sings to your soul, the link will be down in the show notes. And I will brag about the people that are in there for a moment, because we've had this group going for many months now, and they are beautiful souls that light me up. Their comments like give me life, and it's also a beautiful place to kind of share about your own experience and walk along this journey as well with like-minded souls. So if that stings to you, that'll be in the show notes. But what I really wanted to talk about today was remembering why the fuck we came here, you know? And I do apologize. I'm going to curse in this podcast, so you might not want to listen to it with kids in the car if that's something that you do, or if that's something that you care about, them hearing curse words. But it's just who I am, and I've learned that censoring myself really just sort of takes away from the power of the words that want to come through. And I thought this was a beautiful time to talk about remembering why we came to this planet, because it is Virgo season, and I am a Virgo rising, I'm a Virgo moon, and something that's kind of funny about Virgos, it's like people will say that they never forget anything. You know, you have an argument with a Virgo and they pull out receipts and they're like, but you said on February 4th, 2015, that you were going to be there, and then you weren't, you know? And so they never forget anything. I don't know how true that is or not. I feel like I do remember a lot of stuff, but I also forget a lot of stuff. But I thought we would tap into that energy and just take it to like a more divine level, you know? Like, let's take that Virgo energy and tap into it in its most empowered and enlightened and embodied form. And I want to work with the energy of the stars in this podcast. So we will always be referencing, you know, whatever sun sign season we're in, if there's any full or new moons coming up. We're also in the middle of eclipse season right now, which is just crazy. And we have another eclipse coming up here at the end of the month. We've got a new moon in Virgo on September 21st, I believe. I should double check the date, but we'll definitely talk about it as it gets closer next week. And yeah, I love Virgo energy. I'm a little biased because it makes up a big portion of my chart. But I think that it is beautiful and can really lend itself well to helping us remember why we came here. And Virgos do get a bad rap for being nitpicky and nagging and wanting things a very specific way. But part of that is because we have this like vision of a new earth, of what that could look like if everything was running smoothly and everyone was doing their part. And we're like, why can't things just be like that, you know? And so, yeah, I thought that this was a beautiful time to be talking about remembering why we came here. And there are a lot of different levels to this remembrance, and some may feel right to you in this moment. Some of them you may not yet be ready to explore. Some of them you might not feel called to explore in this lifetime, and that's okay too. I think if you consider yourself to be a starseed, or even if you don't, you might believe in the belief of having multiple lives, reincarnation, if you are a spiritual person. And if that's the case, then you might believe that your past lives have an impact on your current lifetime. And you might even have some past life memories. But I want to emphasize that past life memories and remembering your past lives is not necessarily work that everyone feels called to do. It's not work that you have to do, especially if you've got like a lot going on in your life right now. You might be like, you know what? I think I'm good with this amount of stuff that's going on in this lifetime. But if you feel called to that, and if the universe like continually sort of puts opportunities to look into your past life, or you suddenly this is what happened to me. I've only had one real past life memory. And I was doing a meditation where I was not trying to tap into my past life at all. I didn't actually have a goal of the meditation other than to just channel whatever messages wanted to come through. And I had a memory. And while I was first experiencing it, it felt like a real memory that I had experienced in real life. But I soon realized as I was having the memory that in this lifetime, I didn't actually know any of the people that were around me. And I didn't actually recognize my voice in the memory. And I was dressed differently. I was a man in this past lifetime that I remembered. So it was like a very strange, surreal experience that I did not go out on a limb to seek out. And I honestly haven't felt that called to dive into it more. But even just having that little glimpse of, I think this was my most recent past life, helped me to sort of understand myself a little bit better. My South Node is in Taurus. And so it makes sense if I were in this. I'm not saying all men are like this, but in my past life, I was like a man, but I was also a leader, and I was very like, stick to it, get it done, this is the way type of energy. And I feel like I'm so different in this lifetime where I'm like, let's try this, let's try that, let's go over here, let's see what's going over here. But I have this inner friction, and almost like sometimes embarrassment that is how my energy works. And like, there's not really that much that has taught me that, other than I think this past life energy kind of hangs around and judges me a little bit for doing things that way. Like it's a little bit of a memory on my soul that kind of gets activated when I'm being particularly in my Gemini Mercury energy, and I'm like, doot, 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 then it gets more activated. But that's one example of like, you could have a past life memory and it could be helpful to help you understand something in this lifetime. And if that's the case, I would welcome it. I would, if you feel called to, you can seek it out. There are literal practitioners that can help you with past life regressions. But there are also, meditations. The Akashic Records is something that you can tap into. And I'm not going to be the best at describing Akashic Records if you've never heard of them, but it's basically like this. Think of it as like a library that holds all the records of all of your past lives and future lives and everybody's past lives and future lives of the universe. It's like everything that's ever been documented is there. And there are people that can walk you through tapping into your own Akashic records and understanding them more. I am currently listening to a book called Letters to a Starseed by Rebecca Campbell. And she has a chapter in her book, and I'm listening to it. So it's an audiobook. So it's like a literal meditation, where she walks you through sort of tapping into your own Akashic records. And I found it to be helpful, great, insightful. And that's a much like cheaper and quicker option and route if you kind of want to dip your toe in, but you're not ready to like fully dive in, to, finding a one-on-one person who can walk you through your past lives. And, I think the beautiful thing about doing some sort of meditation or allowing any sort of past life information that wants to come to you to just like let it find you is when you do that, you're just going to get the information that is most beneficial to your soul in this moment. Like, I know I've had so many other past lives, and I know there's so much more information out there, but because I don't know it right now, that means that it's not necessarily helpful to my soul. And there could also be things that like are detrimental, that maybe bog me down, that make me sad or something like that. And maybe there will be a time in this lifetime where I'm called to explore that, but it's not this moment. So remembering past lives is one way that can sort of help you remember why you're here, maybe what you came to do in this incarnation. For me, again, knowing sort of who I was in my most recent past life helps me to sort of tap into my divine feminine energy even more, because I'm like, okay, I didn't come here to be the same person twice. That's obviously the opposite of the energy that I'm meant to embody in this lifetime. I still feel like I came here to be a leader and to lead people, but I'm going to do so from a very feminine, fluid energy, and one where I am working with the universe and just going with the flow type of energy. Now, I think quite possibly the type of remembering that is the most intriguing to people, or is at least the most intriguing to me, I'll speak for myself, but I think it intrigues a lot of people, is like being able to remember why you came here for this specific incarnation, for this lifetime. What's your purpose? What are your gifts? What'd you come here to do? And I think that maybe some people get rubbed the wrong way when I talk about life purpose, because I also believe that we should be human beings and not human doings. And we didn't just come here to like serve a specific purpose, but sort of a common thread among many starseeds is that they feel this urge to carry out a life purpose. And it's almost like they're running out of time and they got to figure it out and they got to do it and they got to put it into action. And I feel that way. And I have to actively fight against sort of the running out of time portion of it. But I know that I will just simply not be fulfilled by a life that doesn't feel purposeful. And so I also know that there's a time 2 years ago when I was just embarking on this journey where I felt like super lost and I didn't know what my purpose is. And to a certain extent, I still don't. I'm still working it out, figuring it out day by day, but I think I'm settling into it more and more. And I think we can do certain things to help us remember sort of overarching themes for this specific lifetime without having to know all of the details of the mission that we're going to carry out, because that's just not realistic. And that would be a pretty boring life if you knew exactly what you came here to do and when and why. But when you I think this is one of the reasons why I love astrology and human design so much as tools. Like, they show you who you came here to be in this life. And especially in human design, there is this thing called your incarnation cross. And it is essentially your life theme for this time around. And when I discovered that this was a thing, it like blew my mind. And I have to tell you, mine feels so accurate. And so I would encourage you, if you know your birth time and you've never looked up human design, even if you don't care about any of the other stuff, which I all think is important and beautiful, like look up your incarnation cross, and just see what it says and see if it, triggers any memories coming forward, because that's what half of this remembering is. It's interacting with life, it's seeking things out and allowing divine inspiration to hit you when it wants to. And my incarnation cross, in case anyone's curious, is the right angle cross of Eden 2. And it's a lot of different things that I'm not going to get into, but one of the main pillars of it is like, I came here to live a life fully and to show people what that can be like and how beautiful life can be through all of the ups and downs and all of the messiness, like all of the emotions. It's all stunning. It's all beautiful. It's all worth it to experience. And I truly do feel that way from the bottom of my heart. And, I believe that we all have gifts that we came here only to have in this lifetime. They're special to this lifetime. And then we have soul gifts that we have been cultivating lifetime over lifetime over lifetime. And you don't necessarily have to know the difference between the two. It's something that maybe you just feel intuitively, like maybe you're really great at writing in this lifetime, but storytelling has been a soul gift that you have been cultivating for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. But I do think that 100%, if you look at what it is that you are naturally good at, what it is that lights you up, and the intersection of those two, you will find so much beauty and purpose and mission waiting for you there. I guarantee you, whatever it is that you came here to carry out is not going to be something that drains your energy. It's not going to be something that makes you feel bad about yourself. It's not going to be something that is quote unquote difficult. Sure, you might have to learn a skill. Sure, might be difficult to get there, but you will find when you are sort of in your soul purpose path that things flow a lot more naturally for you. And I kind of liken my success to TikTok to this. Like I can't explain why some accounts take off and some don't, why I experienced success early on. The only thing I can think of is that the universe wanted me to keep going. And so they were like, here you go. Now, does that mean that my time on TikTok has been easy? No, definitely not. It has been full of ups and downs and a lot of nervous system regulation, a lot of letting go of what people think, a lot of facing shadow things. But I always felt this tug forward on this path. And to me, that's what intuition and soul guidance feels like. It is like this string that is pulling me forward from my heart chakra, and I can't explain it. I don't know why. A lot of times it doesn't make any fucking sense, but I just have to keep going in that direction, even if it goes against logic. And it's really hard to choose when it goes against logic. But the more times that I choose that, the more times the universe shows up for me and says, see, this is why it's good to listen to that tug, because look at where you are now and look at how stunning and beautiful this is. I think stopping the podcast last fall was an example of that. I was like, I don't really know why I'm doing this. This is scary. I think switching sort of gears to the Starseed Coalition is another example of like, is this the right thing? I'm not really sure, but I just feel this tug forward that I can't explain. And so that's one of the reasons why I said, my Patreon community is so beautiful, because I let them know that I was changing gears, and just the support and the comments that they had for me really kept me going and gave me an extra boost and made me feel like, okay, I can do this. We can do this. We're all in this together. Starseed Coalition Unite. Also, I want to get some Starseed Coalition merch, but that's for another day. And yeah, so I think I understand if you are similar to me in that you want to uncover, like remembering why you came here from a purpose driven standpoint. And if that's not you, that's also totally fine. Honor that. But if it is you, honor that too. And honor that, it's going to click into place. And when I have moments like this past weekend where everything is all jumbled and it all just sort of sorts itself out in these neat little aligned rows and everything becomes clear to me, it's like a really good thing for me to remember those moments, because I'm like, oh, the clarity like always comes. The clarity always comes. Even if I feel fuzzy for months, and I have felt fuzzy for most of this year, the clarity always comes. It will come in divine timing. And the less that you grip to your current reality, the less that you are so focused on things staying the same and or making a specific path happen, the less that you are tied to that, the more open you are, the more the universe can come in and say, hey, remember this soul gift? Remember this? Remember this thing that lights you up? Well, here's a divine download. Why don't you try doing it in this way and see how that goes? And then do that again and again whenever we give you divine inspiration. And I do think that we can't really force when it is that we are going to have these divine downloads, these big, beautiful alignment moments. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you out there are having a similar experience, because we are right in the middle of this eclipse portal, and eclipses really shift things up. So again, if this like meditation and activation is calling to you in the Patreon, it will be specifically to uncover information from your soul and from the universe that you specifically are meant to know in this moment. And I'm going to sort of facilitate the environment for you to do that for yourself, for you to channel your own message while having, like a safe and guided container for you. You absolutely do not need me to bring through this soul remembering, but just know that that is an option for you if you feel called to. But I think beyond remembering our purpose and remembering past lives, one of the most beautiful ways to sort of remember why we came here is so much more simple and beautiful than we even think. And I've told this story in many places before, so you may have heard it, and I'll keep it short, but it's one of the most profound moments of my life. So it is important to me in my spiritual evolution and where I come from and why I feel the way that I feel about certain things. So I lost my dad to younger onset Alzheimer's in 2018. And this was 2 years ago. This was 2023. I was having a moment of extreme grief, which the further I get away from his death, the less intense it becomes. But I still have these episodes where it's like very heavy, very intense, hard to breathe, hard to believe that my dad isn't here anymore, hard to believe that I have to live the rest of my life without him. It's like very overwhelming. I was having one of those episodes, and in the moment, in the midst of all of that, I could feel my soul's voice coming forward saying, I'm so grateful to be experiencing this right now. And not like I'm so grateful to have loved my dad so much that it means I miss him so much, which I do feel grateful for. But it was like, no, I'm grateful for the experience of soul-crushing grief. I'm grateful to be grappling with this difficult of an emotion that I don't even know how I'm going to make it through it. I obviously made it through it, and I've made it through it every time. But in the moment, it feels so big. And it was like an aha moment for me when my soul's voice came forward and said that, because I was like, whoa, I came here to experience it all. I came here to feel it all. I came here to feel the lowest of lows and the highest of highs, and the loving of love and the grief of loss. I came here to experience all of it. And yeah, my ego loves the days that are fun and filled with love and just easeful. But a bad day for the ego is a great day for the soul. You know, if we came here and just had lives that were one note and we had no hardship and no heavy emotions, we would not grow as souls at all. And so our souls came here to experience everything, even the hardships, even the messiness, even the unknown, the scary unknown, the crippling loss. And maybe maybe you're not ready to hear that right now, and that's okay. And I honor that experience too. Maybe you don't agree with me, and that's, totally up to you, and your own prerogative. But if there's even just a crack for you to think on the next time that you have a bad day or you're going through a difficult situation, like, my soul came here to experience it all. I think that that's really beautiful. And another thing that I'll share that happened to me over the weekend with this full moon and lunar eclipse was I got some really sad news about one of my dogs, and she has a health condition that we've known about. It's gotten a lot worse, and she basically has, a certain amount of time that they've given her of a life expectancy of how much longer they think she'll live. And I mean, no amount of time would be long enough for me, but it is definitely shorter than what I was expecting, especially for her age. And it was really sad. It was really heavy. And I just kind of had this like interesting moment where I was like, there's something about my soul that this time around decided it wanted to see death coming. And what I mean by that is, receive a diagnosis, know that someone's end of life is near, but it's not here yet. And I'm not saying that sudden death or prolonged deaths are good one over the other, like one is better than the other, one is easier than the other. I think it all is shitty and all is hard, but it's all beautiful at the same time. And so I just like, even in the throes of my grief, I was like, wow, there's something about my soul this time around that thought that I would grow the most if I could know that someone had a limited amount of time and I could try to make the most of their time left here on Earth. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And I would be lying to you if I said that the next however long she has to live, we're going to be easy. I'm glad that I have the time with her. But it's also, every moment has like a bittersweetness to it, because I know how fragile it is. And I know how fragile life is in general. And that is a feeling that is very present in me at all times due to the life events that I've lived through, the fragility of life, and how much of a privilege it is to be here. And I don't want to take that for granted. And so, on a very basic level, even if you don't want to remember any of your past lives, maybe you're trying to work out some of your soul gift, life mission stuff, but it's not really coming to you yet. At a bare minimum, I think we can all take a look at all of the beautiful ups and downs in our lives and say, my soul came here to experience it all. And that is what I have for you for our first episode of the Starseed Coalition. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that maybe while you were listening to it, you had little bursts of inspiration or memories come through. Maybe if you have time right now, you can meditate for a few minutes or go on an intentional walk or journal and just see what wants to come through. It could be massive, it could be tiny, it could be like anywhere in between. And just know that whatever information comes through is exactly what you are meant to hear right now. If you want to connect with me further, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. My username is at Katie in Mercury. And if the soul remembering activation and meditation is singing to you, or if you just want to join a group of beautiful, like-minded souls, you can head over to my Patreon. The link will be in the show notes. It's called the Starseed Coalition. It's a beautiful space. And that meditation and activation is up and available for you right now. And you know what? For now, I'm going to end these podcasts how I used to end my other ones because I think it's a beautiful way to end it. And that is to say, keep going. You are doing amazing. And I love you.